There's something I gotta confess to you all.
Okay.
I think, and this is problematic of me, and I understand it. Okay.
Oh, no.
No, about to get canceled 2023.
You know, I gotta say what's true to me. Okay.
Sure.
And I think that a bear doing cocaine is really funny.
I think you're setting a terrible example
apologize.
for the children.
That's animal abuse.
Yeah.
I'm not
The
gonna
children
apologize.
also do cocaine.
Oh, the children also do cocaine.
The children in
That's
the
child
movie do
abuse.
also do cocaine.
I'm not gonna apologize. I think it was funny.
Spoilers for Cocaine Bear. We're
The
gonna
bear does
gab this
cocaine.
cool.
Yeah, spoilers for Cocaine Bear. It's not just the bear does the cocaine. It's everyone in the movie just about.
A lot of people are doing cocaine. Yeah, spoilers. If you don't want to get spoiled, then you can just skip into the
We're
episode
not reviewing
proper.
Cocaine
But
Bear.
we're
I'm
gonna-
just saying that Cocaine
We
Bear
haven't
was sick
said
as hell.
we
Yeah.
haven't said anything that you can't get just from watching the average trailer
That's
for
true.
Cocaine Bear, or
Yeah.
even dare I say from hearing the title.
That is
To
true.
be fair, I didn't know that the kids did the cocaine.
The Bear's kids
That's what I'm
also
saying.
do cocaine.
The Bear's kids also do
All
cocaine.
kinds of kids do cocaine.
Everyone does cocaine.
Oh my god.
Cocaine Bear was literally everything I expected it to be. It was just
Yeah.
about perfect, I think.
People at work were asking me about it, and I'm like, yeah, that movie is ass. I loved it.
100% in a good way. Yeah. Yeah.
I was telling my coworker that I was gonna go see it, and he was like, oh, that movie looked like derogatory. Oh, that movie looks so stupid. And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like it knows
It's like,
exactly
I
how
gotta be
stupid
honest.
it is.
We're going out to watch Cocaine Bear. I didn't think it was going to be high art.
Yeah,
and
not
it was
expecting Citizen Kane Bear like that.
No.
Cocaine Bear, directed by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, right.
Now that I'd watch the shit out of.
It's high art.
Speaking of, though, fucking Ray Liotta's last performance, one of like Scorsese's hitters.
Yeah.
And he plays like a mob boss in this movie that's just he just traffics cocaine.
Yeah, it's like...
And he's trying to recover it. Otherwise, he's like, my whole family's going to get hit if I don't recover this cocaine. Someone's got to do something here.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of like actors doing final performances, this is like on par with Raul Julia in the Street Fighter movie as his final role.
Mm.
Where it's like, well, yeah, the movie's shit, but like, what are you gonna do about it?
Right? Well, and I liked the performances in this movie a lot. I thought they were really fun.
Everyone did
seemed to be
exactly what
just
they needed
having
to
a
do.
good time.
Yeah.
I don't know the actual actor who played this character, but if this movie was done, and you'll know exactly who I'm talking about when I say this, if this movie was made 20 years ago, he would have been played by Ice Cube.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Was it Ice Cube's son?
Oh, is that who that was?
I don't know. I don't think
Is he in this movie?
So I haven't seen the movie, but Ice Cube's son is in fact in it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
would
I'm pretty
explain
sure I
why he
know who
looks
he
just
was
like Ice Cube.
in that case.
I'm sitting here like, damn, he looks a lot like Ice Cube. This is the kind of character he would have played, too.
Like, oh man, this is really
No.
reminding
Well,
me of
anyway.
like Ice Cube's character in Anaconda. Like,
No, because the funny thing is, I think that this conversation has happened in a more popular like podcast or like comedy stand-up. We're not the first people to make this mistake. I have heard
think-
this bit before.
I think you're all the first ones to make this mistake, actually. This is a historic
I'm
moment.
pretty sure we came up with it independently, regardless of whether other people have said it.
This is a casual obsession first bit. You get the exclusives.
Yeah.
true.
Anyways,
This is
welcome
the
back to the
first time
Casual
we've ever done
Obsession
this.
Plagiarism Podcast. The Plagiarism Podcast where we plagiarize
He
other
does look just like his
podcasts.
dad, though.
He does. He sounds like him too.
Looks
like he's got
him.
the voice.
Yeah, I was about to say, talks
That's
like
the
him.
biggest thing to me.
The family genes are strong.
Absolutely.
And
The
he's
cube
one of my favorite
genes.
characters. His arc
Genes.
is more understated than the other characters' arcs.
You're not
His arc-
talking about a character arc in Cocaine Bear, are you?
Oh,
I don't know why
absolutely. We're
that's not
talking
a
about
thing that
character
exists.
arcs
There's
in
one character
Cocaine
arc.
Bear.
It's
It's the
a
arc where the
couple.
bear goes from not doing cocaine to doing cocaine.
I made a big mistake sitting next to Jeff in the theater.
You
because
make this
every
mistake
time-
every time we see a movie
every-
together.
Every time the bear did cocaine, cocaine, one of us would lean over to the other and be like, this is the moment she truly became Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear, feminist movie. We had a female lead.
Yeah,
a female
that's
lead,
true.
female
Copious amounts of
director,
cocaine.
female director as well.
Yeah.
It is a feminist movie, Cocaine Bear.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cocaine Bear.
Anyway, in conclusion,
Good movie.
for what it is, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, if you hear the
if
title
you-
Cocaine Bear and you're not immediately repulsed by it, you should see it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Twitter Brandon hated it.
Twitter Brandon,
You know what?
baffles me because I
I'm-
really thought this would be for him.
I
He liked
really
Ambulance.
thought this would be a movie that Twitter Brandon would enjoy. What's his
know.
problem?
I don't
My friend
understand
Sam
him.
also hated it.
Well, your friend Sam is valid.
I don't know
and
any
I
of your friend
respect their
Sam's
opinion.
other opinions, so I don't know. But I mean, like, you know, it's not like
It's not perfect.
yeah, like we said, it is still Cocaine Bear for as fun as it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I liked it for what it was. I think that
Yeah.
it hit.
So
Poggies.
is this the part where we
Oh.
roll the new theme music?
That's what I was
Because
gonna
I'm
say,
excited
was
about that.
Oh yeah, you had an intro for that.
Yeah, it's the part where I say, now we roll the new theme music.
Whoa! Well, that was cool
Okay.
theme music.
It
The
was,
cool theme
wasn't it?
music here on Casual Obsession, which welcome to Casual Obsession, the horror movie podcast where we talk about horror movies.
We are doing
My voice
that.
is all over the place. I'm so sorry. I've had a long day of talking, so I'm a little ragged. Sorry about that
I
to
thought
all
Not
our
I,
listeners.
says the guy. I'm the guy. Noah.
Hey guys, welcome back to Casual Obsession. I'm Nina.
Don't look at me. I already said I'm Noah. Move
Oh
on.
yeah, he's
Wow.
he's
Jeez.
Noah the
We're
guy.
just fucking up this entire intro. I'm Jeff, anyways.
And I'm Emma.
And today we're talking about Train to
Cocaine
Busan.
Bear. Oh.
No, we already
Cocaine
did
to Busan.
that. Cocaine Train.
That's,
Midnight Cocaine Train to Busan.
I'm pretty sure Cocaine Train is already a movie, isn't it?
2.
It's gotta be, right?
If it's not, trademark, that's our idea.
Yes, absolutely. If you're hearing this, no, you're not. And if you see our movie come out, yes, you do. That's all I got on that. We're talking about Train to Busan today. It's a zombie movie from 2016. It's a K-horror, which we love here. We haven't done one in a while, so I'm...
I think The Wailing was the last. No.
No.
Ganjam.
It was
the
Ganjam,
last
yeah.
one.
Yeah. I believe
A very
this
fun movie.
is this our first zombie movie on the podcast?
It is.
It
As
is.
we roll into the beginning of March of the Zombies.
I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
do a shout out to Mia. This episode's for you.
Oh, is it?
Everyone else can watch it too, but as the long-term pulling for the zombie movies listener, here we are.
We're doing it,
We
man.
did it. We made it.
And I'm trying to get us to cover some Romero movies specifically as well. We're gonna get to it.
Yes, I think this is a good starter though because
I
this
say
is
so.
even though it's like in the scale of zombie movies fairly recent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 9 years old.
Yeah.
Jeez,
And
7
zombie
years old.
movies have
Seven.
Yeah, I was
seven-
about to
7
say,
years
there's
old.
no way it's
Yeah.
9 years old.
zombie
7, though.
movies are like one of the older genres of movie out there in a way. Well,
Kind
not in
of.
a way, just literally.
Mhm.
So this is more recent, and I think it's also just a really solid marker of where we are with it as a genre, as well as a really good indicator of what the genre can hold as a whole.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to talk about it. As for our spoiler-free little summary here, this movie follows a few different characters as they board a train to Busan and zombies
shit.
happen. That's the spoiler-free summary.
More or less.
That is
yeah.
pretty much it. This is
a
the
good
quickest
spo-
summary of a movie we've ever had.
I don't know that it was. I think we've had
the Killer Clowns from Outer Space synopsis was very quick.
Yeah, you said the title.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cocaine Bear.
It's an
if
awful
you
lot
will.
like Cocaine Bear or Wolf Cop, perhaps.
An awful lot like it. So Noah, what were the critical reception
Well,
of this
on
movie?
IMDb, we got ourselves a 7.6. Rotten Tomatoes is a 94. Metacritic is a 73, and Letterboxd is 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
the highest Letterboxd we've seen in a while.
It
I
is,
believe.
actually.
This is the highest overall rating we've seen in a while, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
Even Flanagan's didn't really score this high.
Flanagan has some known haters as well.
That's true.
You know,
That comes
if
with
you
having a
become a
distinct
name
style.
that's, I was gonna say, he has a distinct style and he has a name that people are sick of hearing. So
yeah, they're
some
like,
people
oh,
They're gonna
Mike
get
Flan
sicker of it.
again.
But
'Cause
also,
I'm
I
not
feel
gonna
like
shut up.
Flanagan shines more in television than in movies.
Majorly.
Personally.
He needs the room to breathe.
Yeah.
He also
Yeah.
needs a movie level budget to really like kick it, and that's why his work with Netflix was like kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
He just
Here's
had a lot
hoping
of
that
space to
Amazon
work
will also shovel money at him though and let things happen.
with. Oh yeah.
I have my
hopefully.
fingers so crossed.
But
Anyways.
anyway, this movie, we
Yeah.
got some decent reviews. Nothing from Twitter Brandon on this one though.
He
That's
hasn't talked
a
about
little
this?
surprising.
That's a little weird.
He might have talked about it on Twitter. I
Okay.
didn't really. It's hard to search Twitter anymore
That's
because there's so
true.
many broken features.
Well, yeah, 'cause
because
the way
Elon
that-
Musk is a
the
fucking
way that
asshole.
Twitter just like doesn't work anymore. Yeah. Fuck that.
You
Yeah.
know, for this last week, if I clicked on a tweet with an image in it, not on the image, but on the tweet to select the tweet, the image would get 10 times as tall, but still just as wide as the screen.
Huh.
So it would like stretch out and like be super zoomed in
Wow.
on like a slice of the image.
It hasn't been
For a
doing that for
while-
me, but it has just been like not loading images ever at all for me.
That too. Yeah.
My private will not give me notifications for likes or replies. My public, for a while there, if someone liked a tweet and I wanted to like click the notification to see the tweet they liked, it would take me to their profile instead every time.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So thanks, Elon. But yeah, this movie, I think that the critical reception is like well deserved
Absolutely.
across the board.
In addition to that, the year that it came out, it was the highest grossing movie in Korea.
Nice.
I
That makes
am
sense.
not shocked by that. There are a lot of things that I can't wait to talk about this movie, just like stylistically, that really hit for me.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, there's only one thing in this whole movie that didn't hit.
Is it
Is
the,
it Businessman?
is
No,
it the
it's the
CGI every time that they use it?
No, it's the score. I didn't
Really?
I didn't love the score.
Okay, yeah, I follow that.
No,
100%.
Damn, I disagree.
Everything I can totally get past the CG and
Same.
Oh, sure, it's easy to look past.
yeah, I can get past the businessman because he's a feature, not a bug.
Well, yeah.
But the score didn't hit for me at some points.
But how?
other than that,
how much would you say it detracts from your overall rating? What would
I
you
would
say
say
your
it-
score for this movie is?
Yeah, Dana, what would your
I would say if
score
we
for the
started
movie?
out at a 10 and then we were detracting points for just the score and maybe like a couple other minor things, we would come down to an 8 out of 10 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, personally, if we start out at a 10 and then we have to subtract my burning hatred of Businessman, which is an easy 13. But then we add my my love of Sang-hwa back in, which is an easy
Sure.
13. I'm sitting at a clean 10.
Okay, yeah.
Oh wow,
Coming in with a
nice.
10.
There are probably 10 or 15 notes in this where I gradually get angrier and angrier at the businessman.
Yeah.
Koo, I think his name was. Regardless, the longer the movie went on, the more explicitly I was stating what I wanted to do to this guy.
I'm so
Wow,
excited to
okay.
read these notes.
What did you wanna
didn't
do?
Catch very many character names at all. They're
Don't
not
ask me
spoken
that,
all
Emma.
that
I can't
much.
record that.
I only know
I checked IMDb and I wrote down the 4 characters that are important
okay. Yeah.
to me.
I just came up with
I-
nicknames for them in my notes. Sorry, Nina. Go ahead.
I only knew the name of the actor for who we've been calling Cool Dad
Oh,
because
right.
I don't know if they say his name.
They do.
Once.
Do
His wife
they?
says his name once.
Okay, because I know that they call each other nicknames for the most part. And then yeah. I think the kid's name is said by far the most.
Yeah, also, they can't agree on how it's written, though. Her name is Suan, S-U-A-N.
Yeah.
And in the subtitles, it says S-O-O-A-N. And
That's
in
just
IMDb, it says in the subtitles, it says S-U-A-N.
In
But
the-
in the IMDb credit character is S-O-O-A-N.
Where
That's
were you
just a
watching it?
Korean name thing. A lot of the times you can spell it either way.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Where were
Yeah,
you watching it? Because where I was watching it on
Shudder.
Shudder, the subtitles spelled it with a U.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's what I meant. I typoed.
Oh, okay.
In the
Verbally.
IMDb shut the fuck up. In the IMDb credits, IMDb credits. Anyway,
okay,
though,
okay,
that's
gotcha.
a 10 for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I am giving it a solid 9.
Okay.
I love it an awful lot. I don't think it is my absolute favorite zombie movie, but it is definitely among them, and it's definitely among the best ones that I have seen.
Oh, yeah. I get that.
We can talk about issues with the CGI and the soundtrack and stuff later, but what about you, Emma?
Yeah, but what about you?
You know, I love seeing my boy from Squid Game who did the little game at the beginning, getting work, being in more things, even though I know this came out before. This is a joke.
Okay.
But he's a real cool guy. It's a real good movie. When I first watched this movie, I think last year, I really, really enjoyed it. And I think watching it again, I noticed some of its flaws a bit more.
Sure.
But I still really enjoy it. And I'll give it a solid 8.3.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
good movie.
I'll say it until practically the end. Was Businessman an asshole? Yes, absolutely. But he was a rational asshole. His
that's the
actions made
thing.
sense.
Wait. When
That's the
we're
thing,
saying
right?
businessman, are we saying like the main character or the shitbag
No,
guy? 'Cause
The shitbag guy.
Okay.
Main character is dad, or, something like
He's
that.
in my notes as shit dad.
Shit
Okay.
dad and good
Yeah,
dad.
it's shit
Yeah.
dad, cool dad, and I think shitbag guy is all I refer to the other guy as.
I have also gosh, they say the girl with the sports team, the cheerleader's name a lot as well, and I
Jinhee.
don't remember her name.
It's Jinhee, and she's played by
Jinhee.
Sohee, who used to be a member of the K-pop group Wonder Girls.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah,
She's
I did
super
not know
pretty.
that. I found that while looking for the rest of the fun facts and trivia for the movie, just so everyone knows. I didn't
Nice.
just recognize her or something.
Yeah. Jeff just comically tugged at their collar like they're in a cartoon. Okay. With our ratings out of the way, what
Yeah.
content warnings do we have for this movie? It is obviously a zombie movie, so be aware.
Yeah, I got all the typical
zombies.
zombie stuff.
Yeah,
Blood.
the typical zombie.
Yeah,
zombie.
got some-
lots of blood.
gore.
We got some blood. We got
Not
some,
as much gore, actually.
Not a ton, considering how zombie movies get sometimes. Usually, actually, there's
We
not
got some good
actually
broken
all that
limb
much.
action, though.
We do have some decent broken limb action. Obviously, an awful lot of violence. Really good like action sequences and stuff. We got some child
the action
endangerment, but the
sequences are
kid's
fun.
okay. So
Yeah, there's not a lot. When we say child endangerment on this one, it's not the same as like with It, where
No.
the children are being threatened directly. Like, obviously, she is in direct danger, but there is no point that for, I'm going to call it a cheap reaction. There's no point where it focuses danger on her specifically. It's always at the group that she is a part of.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
always just that the stuff is happening and she happens to be present for it.
Yeah.
I have so much I can't wait to talk about
Right.
with this movie.
Edge mentioned this for the Halloween episode. Not something I'd ever thought of before, but the human crush. We're watching
yeah.
a literal
Yeah.
human wave of zombies at some points.
There is an
Not
awful
like
lot of
World
that
War
in this
Z
one.
levels, but there's a lot of like piling on each other and doing stuff. So.
Yeah.
I was wondering why I was getting like that's not necessarily a trigger. I think it's something I enjoy more than anything because sometimes you know how like there are triggers that make you viscerally uncomfortable and have anxiety attacks, but other times there are triggers that make you just uncomfortable enough that it's kind of fun.
Right,
That's how I feel about the human
where
crush.
you're just kind of being like, oh yeah, this movie's taking advantage of something really scary, and they're
Exactly,
doing well
yeah.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about
yeah. This
that
movie
specific
utilizes
kind
the
of thing.
like zombie horde aspect of it in a really interesting way, considering that it's
Oh,
in
they're-
such
they're-
cramped spaces for most of it. But
there are
then
like
when
2 or
it's
3 shots that just
yeah. Anyways, we can get to that after, though. I think that's all our
Right.
content warnings, isn't it?
yeah.
I think so.
The movie opens with a deer being run over.
Ooh, that's true.
Oh, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
I
true.
don't.
The movie also opens with a little insider stock trading, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, corrupt business trigger warning. Okay. So with that out of the way, are we gonna do a scary rating, Emma? I think this one kind of I'm actually interested
Yeah.
to hear
How scary is this movie?
how scary you found this.
I found this not scary.
Ah,
Fair
damn it.
But I mean, everything happens in the daylight.
That's true.
And so I feel like that a common scary point for zombie movies is generally like at night where you can't really see everything and like zombies kind of start popping out.
A little bit, yeah.
That doesn't happen so much in this. It's more just kind of the ever-present presence of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got some creepy makeup, and they do say one thing for Korean zombie actors. They've got the creepy movements down.
Oh, yeah.
They really do.
In a way that American zombie movies do not have.
I actually know the specific references that they were drawing from when they decided how these zombies should move.
I love that. I'm excited to hear about it.
I'm excited to hear about it.
But that's creepy, but I wouldn't say it's like scary.
Sure. In regards to
there
No, you go ahead.
No, you got it, Jeff.
Okay, in regards to the daylight thing, that's actually a surprisingly common thing in the zombie genre. Of all horror genres, I think the zombie movies that I have seen are the ones that take place the most in the daylight, typically.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of them still have like at least one nighttime scene.
Oh, sure, yeah. Whereas this one all just takes place over the course of a single day, so you don't get a chance for that.
Which is my favorite thing about it, because I said this a little bit. We were talking, I remember, I think I might have brought it up on the podcast talking about The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of any zombie like media is the outbreak.
Yes.
I love watching society collapse. And this movie
This one plays it
entirely
so good in the beginning.
through the whole thing. I love the slow creep. I love the constant realization that each new safe place is not safe. I love like trying to contact people from the outside, since we're in such like a tight-knit like kind of group.
Yeah.
I love a lot of this movie. I think the setting really plays into it. But in order to talk more in depth about that, we got to get through the plot. So
Right.
let me talk about that.
Let's do it.
So this movie follows a few core characters that all have their own different kind of main attributes. And the main character is this father and his daughter Suan, and he is taking her to see his ex-wife in Busan, because he's kind of been a shit neglectful dad. He didn't go to her recital where she was gonna sing, and he bought her a Wii even though she already had one.
He's
He
hitting
bought
all
her
the like
earlier that year.
He's hitting all the like cliche shitty dad stuff.
Yeah, literally. So she just wants to go see her mom. And so finally he's like, okay, I'll ride the train with you to go to Busan and see your mom. They get on the train, but as they're kind of heading towards the train station, you get some early hints. The movie opened with a deer rising from the dead, which is interesting because that's the only animal that we see do that, I think, in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick side note, if it's allowed.
Yeah.
More zombie movies should have animals kind of affected by the zombie virus.
Yeah, why is it
Yeah,
only Resident
it's really
Evil?
cool.
I love
Come
seeing
on.
that stuff.
But yeah, so we got that hint early on, and then as they're heading towards the train station, we see that there's some fires and some panic already starting. This is some of my favorite part in the movie, because as they're boarding the train, things are starting to devolve and people just haven't even noticed it yet. There's people who are starting to turn and no one really knows why or what's going on. They have no way to identify it yet. So as the train is pulling away from the station, someone jumps on at the last minute. And she's super infected, so that's cool. She has been bitten, and there are these kind of black kind of tendrils starting to crawl up her leg already. And she kind of dips into a washroom. Meanwhile, everyone else on the train is kind of settling in. We're getting to see our other main characters. We have a sports team in one of the cars. It's mostly dudes, but there is one girl cheerleader, Jinhee. Or Jinyi which was it? I'm sorry.
Jinhee.
Jinhee, yeah. And she's got a crush on one of the dudes. Good for her. He does not seem to be like, he seems to be playing it coy on that one. Good for him. We also see there are two elderly women who are sisters. We have a businessman who's from the start kind of a dick. And then as Suwon, the kid, goes to the bathroom early on, we meet the best character in the movie.
Yeah.
The cool dad and his wife, who is in the bathroom. She's super pregnant. So now that we've got our cast of characters, we also meet like a couple of the people who work on the train are kind of conferring. They say that someone weird is in the washroom. And I love how they do this because the subtitles, at least in English, keep saying there's this guy in the bathroom. And you're like, oh, I thought it was a girl. They're not talking about the like very visually infected person. They're talking about just an uninfected homeless man who has come onto the train. That's who they're worried about getting off. And this is the start of like a really interesting like commentary on like class and stuff that runs throughout the whole movie. But yeah, so the train gets moving. They tell the homeless man that he's got to get off on the next stop, but the train starts moving and things start happening. Almost immediately, the infected woman starts to have what looks like a seizure attack, but we know that it's her turning. One of the stewardesses on the train tries to tend to her and ends up getting attacked and bitten, which immediately things go to hell so quickly. There's some parts later on in this movie where people are talking about, how do we know you're not infected? And it's like, well, I don't know, man. It takes about 30 seconds.
It happens real fast, and it seems like it's very easy to spot.
Exactly. So the kind of paranoia aspect that's in some, like it's in The Last of Us and it's in The Walking Dead, that kind of aspect is not quite as strong here because the turn is so visible and happens so fast. But since it happens so fast, the train is pretty quickly overrun by zombies and the groups kind of get separated into different cars. They realize pretty quickly that the zombies are kind of operating by sight. So they block off the glass doors to the cars and seem to be able to be safe for a bit. The conductor is like, yo, we're going to try and stop at this specific stop. It seems like we'll be okay there. Our main character, the father, calls up one of his contacts because he's a like funds manager or something, some hoity-toity businessman. And he calls up one of his contacts in the city that they're going to stop at. And the contact is like, oh, you're going to have to quarantine when you get here, but I can get you guys in through a different way. And the dad's like, cool, great. We'll head to the East Square instead of the main square. They stop at this stop and they get off and the main group starts headed toward the main square, but Suwon and her dad kind of part off towards the East Square and the homeless man notices that's where they're headed and he's like, I'm coming with you guys. And then in one of my favorite scenes in the movie, as the main group is heading down the escalator, you see this group of men in uniform standing at the bottom, and you as the audience pretty quickly realize what the fuck is up. But the moment that they clear the overhang of the escalator and the group can see them, they're all infected and they turn and like rush the people on the escalators. At the same time, off towards the East Square, Suwon and her dad and the homeless man find a soldier as well who is on the border of being completely infected and he's stumbling along. They realize in time to turn around and run and try and make it back to the train. Some groups make it on again in different cars. A lot of people are separated. The pregnant wife and Suwon managed to make it out together onto one of the cars. The businessman and some of the other people make it onto one of the others. And then Jinhee's crush, whose name I cannot remember, and Cool Dad and Shit Dad.
He's in my notes as Baseball Boy. If that helps.
Baseball Boy.
Baseball Boy.
They all make it onto one car together as well. So we have 3 separate groups at this point. Jinhee is with businessman and one of the elderly sisters in one car, which seems to be the most safe. Meanwhile, Suwon, the other elderly sister, and Cool Dad's pregnant wife are stuck in a washroom because they managed to hop onto a connector between 2 cars full of the infected. So they have to kind of camp out for the time being.
I believe the homeless guy's in there as well, isn't he?
Oh, in the washroom
with
them.
Cool Dad, yeah.
No,
No, he's not
really?
with Cool
no,
Dad. He's with.
it's just the three boys
Oh, you're
because
right,
we
yeah.
get that bomb ass shot of them walking out with their like gear all
Yeah.
on. The boys realize that there's only a few cars between them and Suwon and, you know, basically just their loved ones. And they're like, we are going to try and do something crazy. We're going to try and make it through 4 cars of the infected to get to our people. They gear up with like athletic tape around their arms. They grabbed a riot shield from some of the troops at the last stop. Baseball boy has a baseball bat. And they basically muscle their way through these 4 cars. They realize at some point that when the zombies cannot see, they operate by sound. And so they're able to use sound to confuse and distract the zombies going through tunnels, which works really well. And shockingly, none of them get infected by the time they get to the washroom. Having collected all their people, they continue crawling through like overhead storage space and using the tunnels to get to the last car where everyone else is kind of hiding. When they get there, they're like, hey, let us in. But businessman, the fucking shithead. And again, there are moments where it's like, okay, I kind of understand your actions as someone who has your own self-preservation in mind, but this movie's message is very anti-self-preservation. So he wants to keep them out, and
I would say not anti-self-preservation,
selfishness.
Yeah.
Because it definitely wants you to like survive. It just wants you to also help other people.
Yes,
Yeah.
it wants
instead
you to
of
keep other
stepping on 'em.
people's well-being in mind. Is a really
that's
everyone should not just look out for themselves, but for those who are in their care.
Yeah.
Which I think is very intentional throughout the entire movie. But yeah, so the infected are following them, and they aren't able to completely clear the door to the car before the one where all of the people are hiding safe. And Cool Dad is unfortunately left holding the door shut as this zombie horde tries to claw their way through, and he does get bitten in the process, which is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the group is at the other end of the car trying to get into the safe car and being told absolutely the fuck not. They eventually manage to break their way in, but not before Cool Dad fucking perishes.
Yeah.
He's able to hold them off just long enough that everyone's pretty much able to get in safe and slide the door shut behind them, except for the one elderly sister who does also get bitten at the last minute, also kind of managing to hold back the horde a little bit. Immediately upon reaching safety, Suwon's dad fucking decks the shithead businessman, which leads in the most condemnable act this man has and does in the movie. Everything else I can understand is self-preservation. He says that he believes that they are infected, and he's doing this entirely because he got decked and he's mad about it. He's like, these guys are infected. What he doesn't know is that he has just saved our main group of protagonists' lives, because they get shunted off to a smaller car near the front of the train, where they kind of are closed off from the rest of the group. And as soon as they're closed off, the elderly sister who is still left alive, and has kind of been shown like mentally deteriorating without her sister. She's not doing well. She's depressed. She's scared. She's just seen her sister die and get infected. She lets the zombies in, and we're treated to a really fun little blurred out sequence of that entire car getting decimated. They continue to head to Busan and eventually pull off at this kind of like switch station for a bunch of different trains. And we find out that shit businessman has indeed ducked into a washroom to survive with one of the stewards on the train. He chucks the steward out into the zombies and uses him as a human shield to get out of the train and run. And the conductor, our heroes, and shithead businessman all kind of run to find a new train to get to Busan. And during this, we lose the homeless man as he helps Suwon and the pregnant lady get out from underneath a collapsed train car, but dies in the process. We lose the conductor as even though he managed to get one train engine moving out of the station, he ends up getting pulled off that and dying as he tries to help shithead businessman onto the train. Shithead businessman makes it onto this train engine and our heroes catch up with him. But when they arrive to the cabin of this train engine, they see that shithead businessman is infected. It seems like core memories kind of come back to you as the infection takes hold, which we'll see later as well. And in his state of confusion, he seems to have regressed to childhood and is reciting his address and asking the main characters to help get him home. And the main characters are like, bro, you're infected. And he's like, what?
Literally Wile E. Coyote running off of a cliff.
Yeah.
As soon as he's told he's infected, he's like, oh, no. And then he turns.
Yeah.
There's an extended fight scene between shithead businessman and our main dad, and which does end with shithead businessman's final fucking death. They also have to kick a horde of zombies off the back of the train, which is a really fun sequence.
Fantastic set of shots with that group of zombies dragging behind the train. I fucking love that part.
I loved that. But during the fight with shithead businessman, our boy gets bit. And he locks the pregnant woman and Suwon in the train cabin and goes to the back of the train, has a flashback of Suwon's baby birth, and she's so cute and tiny, and he is all sad and smiling at the memories, and then he steps off the back of the train as he turns. And the train manages to make it to the barricaded kind of gates to this tunnel at Busan, and our remaining two survivors get off the train and make their way through the tunnel. Two soldiers see them but can't verify with the shadows. Can't verify with the shadows that
Nina just poured a bunch of water on me.
I didn't mean to. With the shadows, they can't verify whether or not Suwon and her escort are infected or not, and they are even about to shoot them for safety's sake, which is sad, but I totally understand, until they hear Suwon singing the song that she had practiced for her dad, and they're like, well, that's definitely not zombie noises. And they go out to bring the two into the safety of the city. And that's where it ends. And it's so sad. It really gets sad at the end there and in the middle and some parts early on. We did lose Baseball Boy and Jinhee earlier as well in the race to get to the new train engine.
Throws them behind him to get eaten in his stead as well. He does this to 4 people.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Train to Busan.
That's Train to Busan.
That's Train to Busan.
All right.
That truly was.
Thanks for listening today, everyone. This has been Casual Obsession.
So,
gosh, what a good movie.
So before that synopsis, I mentioned knowing what they were using as visual references for how these zombies ought to move.
Yeah.
Okay, before I get into this, I think it relevant to mention the director, whose name is Yeon Sang-ho, prior to this movie had only ever done animated stuff. This is his first live-action production.
Oh, wow.
You would not know it.
So I think
a little bit, maybe.
I think that figures into an awful lot of the way that this movie gets executed, because the inspirations for the way that the zombies move are the zombies in the video game 7 Ways to Die, the nurses in Silent Hill, and something from the anime Ghost in the Shell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I definitely see the nurses in Silent Hill.
Absolutely, yeah, it's pretty clear. I haven't played 7 Ways to Die, and I haven't watched Ghost in the Shell, so the thing that they used from Ghost in the Shell was the dolls. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I will have to keep an eye out when I eventually watch Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, really great visual scenes of the zombies kind of piling over each other. I loved early on in the train when we just see this like tunneling wave of zombies coming towards the camera. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I talked about the scene where the horde of soldiers turn when they see the chills. That was
It's
like
so
there were a couple
good.
moments where I'm like, this is like actually kind of scary.
Mhm.
And then any scenes of them falling out of the train cars at the end, or like, oh my god, when
Holy
they busted
shit,
through the
yeah.
glass
Okay, yeah,
on
so
the sky
that
bridge.
that and also
And they started falling on top
in
of it.
the scene where Suan and the pregnant lady and the homeless guy are under that like tipped over train car.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just looking in through the windows at all the zombies that are just lying on them, trying to
Yes.
like break through. Like, holy shit, that's an insane set of shots, isn't it?
That's so
Oh.
good.
I love how many shots there are of just zombies pressed against glass
Yeah.
at various angles.
There is so much of that.
I love how they spill out almost like a wave of like city rats. Like it's like the
Yeah.
rats in Ratatouille, but
They just
zombies.
dump out of the things that they're in. It's insane. It's so good.
It's so good. I love the way
like-
they move.
I like how they remove, at least I think this is how they did it, but how they removed frames from the zombies movement
Yes.
to make it look more
Yeah,
disjointed.
make them look just a little bit more like herky-jerky kind of. It's really cool.
Whenever
Yeah,
they had the
retro
camera
well.
in a stationary spot and the zombies were running past it and they moved so fucking fast.
They're so
I love a
fast.
fast zombie movie.
Yeah.
There have been so many discussions about like if you were in a zombie apocalypse, which kind of zombies would you prefer? And I think the universal kind of agreement is the Walking Dead zombies.
Yeah,
'Cause
slow, stupid
they're
zombies
slow,
that don't know what
stupid.
they're doing.
The big problem with the Walking Dead zombies is that you're already infected and everyone who dies can become one.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Spoilers for season 2.
Or the first game.
Whatever.
I thought that was
That
something
came
that
out like
everyone
8 seasons in.
I thought that was something that everyone knew from the beginning of that show. I've only seen like 3
No.
episodes of it. But
No,
I
they don't
thought
realize-
that was a
it's a
really
big
well
reveal.
established mechanic from the beginning.
No, it's a big reveal when they realize, wait a minute, but they died of old age type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But having seen a lot of that, like this is like my bottom of the list. Please not these. I
100%.
would rather. Holy shit! We
Right?
don't see any of these like actually die either. Like we see the boys beat their way through them, but I don't
Oh,
think
shit.
they stay down.
Yeah. I don't think we ever see them get like meaningfully damaged even. They just kind of get
Mm-hmm.
pushed around a little bit, and that's sort of it.
Yeah.
Also though,
it's
and this
scary.
is kind of one of my issues with this movie. These zombies don't really seem to eat people.
No,
They bite them
Just
to
bite
turn
them.
them, and then they just kind of like move on. And I don't really
Mhm.
understand
But that's
why
actually
they would
a
do
problem.
that. What their motivation?
That's a
there
problem
would
I've
be.
usually had with other zombie media is like if you shoot a zombie in the head to kill it, but zombies are after brains, then
Ooh, actually.
how
So most zombie movies, zombies are not focused on brains, right? But the movie that
Mm-hmm.
originates from is Return of the Living Dead, actually,
okay.
which is a silly, goofy movie for the most part. I kind of love it. I've been like avoiding suggesting it for the podcast because it's not like, great or anything, but like
right.
it is, I think, actually kind of a solid zombie movie, but they do a lot of really uncommon stuff with their zombies in that one. The zombies there are actually smart as well. They can like talk and plan. It's kind of odd.
Scary.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that the one with the tar zombie?
That is the one with the tar man in it. Yeah, it's Tom Savini
Yeah.
effects, I believe. And
It is, yeah.
yeah, the effects in that movie look really good for the most part. I really like it, but
Anyway, and this one it feels like it's more of the goal is to spread infection rather than to satiate any hunger.
yeah.
Which is something that they talk about with like something that is focused on and explained in depth in like The Last of Us is that the goal of the zombies in The Last of Us is to find new hosts for this
Right, because it's
for this
it's like a
fungal
fungus, right?
parasite.
Yeah, because it's based on
Yeah.
the cordyceps fungus.
The cordyceps, yeah. So I think they don't get too in depth about what's causing the infection here. It's some like chemical leak or something.
Yeah, they never really specify it, which I think is probably best.
I like it. I like how contained this is. I am a very vocal kind of supporter of contained and succinct stories that don't get too crazy on their world building. Like you can basically infer what you need to infer, and I think this movie does that perfectly. I think we pretty much get only what we need to get
it's zombies.
For the story to make sense.
There's a leak and now there's zombies. That's what matters.
There was a leak, there's zombies.
Yeah. We all know how this works.
So it's possible that because we don't get the explanation, there are certain things that might be considered quote unquote plot holes that I think are just like, maybe the zombies' goal isn't to eat people. Maybe it's just to spread as much as possible.
Yeah, which is easy enough to follow, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some more trivia here. If we want to dive into that a little bit further.
I love trivia.
All right, so
give me a sec. Hold on. Okay, we're good. Go.
All right, so the actor who plays the cool dad, what did you say his name was?
He goes by Don Lee or Ma Dong-seok.
Okay, so
both either.
He and the actor who plays the main character, Shit Dad, his name is Gong Yu. The two of them kind of like bounce off of each other very naturally in this movie, even though their characters like hate each other. The reason for this is that they knew each other in real life from before this. Don Lee was Gong Yu's personal trainer for a while.
Oh apparently. My gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
He looks like a personal trainer.
He does.
Also,
he's built like
oh my
a
gosh,
fucking brick
he is
wall.
right,
so
man's built like a brick shit house. He's caked up as well. Anyways, so I was talking about how certain things in this movie were done, how some of the the effects and stuff, the way they picked how the zombies were gonna move and stuff. Okay, so the zombie makeup, the the dark veins and stuff, they drew that actually onto all their actors with an airbrush.
Ooh.
Nice.
But this is so this is something really cool, and that I think the having worked on animation projects thing probably figures into a little bit. So throughout the movie, everything that takes place on the train, you're always watching things go by out the windows, right? Wrong. There's LED screens outside that window. They're just projecting shit on it. And they're always focused on the characters, and the windows are if it's not in clear focus, it's sunlight out there, it's supposed to be bright, so you don't think about it. But that's just an LED screen that's outside the window. That's how they did all that.
Love
that's
that.
so cool.
That's fucking cool, isn't it? I thought that was so neat.
When you said that he had a background in animation, I immediately picked up on a couple things. Again,
it
the
shows
way the
in the style,
move,
right?
The way the camera stays sometimes, because camera movement in animation is hard. So to just have the camera stay, the way that some shots are framed, like that shot that I was talking about in the chat with the washroom where you see all three characters, the way that that's kind of staged makes sense.
Yeah.
And then my favorite thing, which is the design of the zombies, feels like the design that I would go with because of the things that I like in character design and animation. The way that the eyes are kind of whited out and the contacts are very simple. They're just a pale blue. There's a lot of things that you have to simplify to work in animation that you don't have to simplify when you do them in live action, but they look really good from far away, and they look really good in just a simple, identifiable way. Yeah. And I think that that's something that absolutely stands out with these zombie designs is the black veins, the pale, simple pale blue contacts.
Speaking of, I think those contacts
so
are
good.
My favorite white contacts that I've seen in a movie, probably.
Oh,
they are the best
we
looking
know that
ones.
I love a weird eye.
Oh, of course, right.
These are up there.
These are fantastic. Okay, so we mentioned that deer that gets hit by the truck at the first of the movie. And the way we get that really cool shot of it standing back up in a really weird way. And
that was so weird.
Okay, so they made all the shots of that deer using a combination of CGI and videos of actual water deer.
Which is
why it looks so fucking good.
It's clearly computer generated, but I think that plays into
I think when we get
kind of the uncanny valleyness of it.
Right, yeah. I think, though, when we get that, close-up on its face, I think they did that just by taking a close-up video of an actual deer and then just, altering it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I was
'Cause
talking about the scene of it
it, like-
actively standing up.
Right,
'cause
yeah. Obviously,
that
they
felt
didn't
kind
have
of,
a real deer doing that. Yeah,
Right.
but
which was, I liked
it works
that.
the
I
way
liked
that it
the.
is, though. It's so good. Okay, what else was there? There was something else. Oh, okay. So they name drop a couple of specific train stations in this movie. Specifically Daejeon and Shonan. Those two train stations they actually did shoot at. When you see those two train stations, those are those real train stations. Also, one in East Daegu, which I don't know where any of these places are in Korea. I'm assuming they are somewhere between Seoul and Busan. Not that I know where those places are either, but
They're on the train tracks.
oh, right. All I got to do is follow the train tracks when I get there. All right, cool. But yeah, when you see that, those are those actual places, which I think is very neat. Anytime that happens, personally.
Nice. One of the things that I really liked about this, and I'm glad to know that they shot in so many big, open, like actual real stations.
Right, yeah.
Because it's really what I was hoping. Because my favorite part of any zombie movie, really, but especially with how they do it in this, is how many different scenes are big, open shots where either it's empty, like the train stations,
Right.
where it's just like, hey, this is empty, and that's kind of fucked up and weird.
Yeah, or it's like
Or-
everything's on fire.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, wonder what's going on in the city. Anyway, zoom.
Yeah.
You know? I love stuff like that.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the primary development of the initial outbreak happening where I hate watching the step-by-step initial outbreak.
Yeah, I hate watching Patient Zero. It's
Yeah,
like
Patient Zero is not
You gotta do
I'm
that
okay
shit
with
really
knowing
well
the
for it to be
Patient
good.
Zero for our specific scenario, and I think it's like when we're talking about
Yeah.
themes of class and stuff, it is an important plot point in this case.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing the actual Patient Zero,
Boring.
boring.
Not a
Usually,
fan.
yeah.
Seeing,
Seeing-
oh, there's a bunch of strikes happening. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I love
Much
how the
better.
news coverage about
Seeing
it.
something is wrong. TM is my favorite kind of.
I
Zombie
love how
outbreak.
we get
Yeah.
that scene where we see like everyone looking at their phones and we get the shots of like what the news coverage of this event looks like. And it's all just talking about how, oh, there's these violent riots. We think somebody's trying to like take over government buildings and stuff. If everyone just like, stays put where you are, we believe there's no danger to your safety. And it's over these shots of just burning cities. I fucking love
Yes.
that.
I loved when I'm not sure if I read the subtitles correct, but it looked like someone went into their texts or onto Twitter and like the word zombie was just trending on Twitter
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
says-
it said hot
loved
term
that.
Yeah.
zombie.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so
I love
good.
that as
Liked-
a touch. This movie uses cell phones in a really cool way, I think.
It really does.
Mhm. And just communication in general.
Mhm.
But speaking of kind of like how the zombie plague was introduced to us in this movie, of course you've got the deer at the beginning, but like our first glimpses of it and how they did it are really cool.
Yes.
In that there's kind of the girl that snuck onto the train and you see her start getting sick. But then as the train starts taking off, you see the daughter like look out the window briefly and there's this person running along the train.
Yeah.
And then just right before the train kind of like really starts going and loses this person, you see them get tackled by somebody.
Yeah.
And the little girl's like, wait,
Like,
what
hey,
the
what's
fuck just
happening
happened?
Yeah, that and like in the backgrounds of all the shots in the train station, there's a couple of spots where like attention isn't even always drawn to it, but you just see a crowd gathered around like something weird
Yes.
happening. I
Mhm.
love that.
No, it's a super good time.
I love the way that the sets are built. This is another thing that like I think is neglected a lot and might be due to kind of, again, when you're working in animation, all of those details there's no way to overlook them because you kind of have to draw them all. So when you're doing it in real life, I wonder if that plays into it because there's a lot of the sets when it comes to walking through different train cars where you see like bloody handprints and just the aftermath of the infected having been in there. There's very few continuity errors, if any, when it comes to like we go through a train station and they slow down to stop, but then a bunch of people kind of run up and start like slapping on the windows to let them in, and then they get picked off by fucking zombies.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of bloody handprints on the outside of the train windows as well as on the inside. I love that shit.
There's just so many
So much.
little details that are done so well in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's cool stuff.
It is. It is so good.
Can I talk about a thing that bothered me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So throughout the movie, when we see people turn into zombies, it's like they may be able to hold it together for a little bit,
Right.
but then the zombie taking over part happens very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the movie, with the bad businessman and then bad dad main character, like having like the big zombie kind of makeup on and them trying to do this dramatic like thing, it just felt really awkward.
Oh, it bothered me so
Especially
much.
With the dad. So the dad gets bit and he like gets his daughter and the pregnant woman into like the engine room or whatever it's called, and then is kind of sitting on the back of the train. And you see he's just like covered in the zombie makeup and everything, and he's reminiscing about like his daughter, and he's just like got this big goofy smile on his face, and it just feels so awkward to me. And then like he jumps off the train.
That bothered me too. It
And
did.
I'm just like, I feel like you could have done that way better. And if he was like reminiscing and stuff as he was like walking to the back of the train,
Yeah.
and like each time it cuts back to him, like you see maybe like a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then he gets to the back and like starts turning and kind of falls off. I feel like that would have been way better than
I
like
agree.
the edit we got.
Completely agree there. Yeah.
And I think that plays into my problems with the soundtrack as well, which is that for the most part, the soundtrack, like I'm gonna say it, I might be wrong.
Sure.
To me, it didn't feel like anything special. It felt really like just generic action movie kind of soundtrack. And then it kept trying to have these big, sad, emotional beats.
When the piano
And-
comes in, yeah.
And then the piano comes in. Yeah, that's exactly the problem.
I think the best description.
It's so melodramatic.
I think, melodramatic's a good word for it. I would have called it predictable, I think.
Mm-hmm,
Like every
it is
beat
exactly.
in the soundtrack is like, well, yeah, of course this is what's playing right now, though.
Yeah, when there's like I hated it. Does the thing that I hate, especially when early on it didn't do this, when there was like things going wrong in the background and we were just kind of trusted as the audience to see it, because that was part of like the suspense of it. And then later on in the movie, if there's an infected person behind one of our heroes, you get the
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
and it's like, come on, man, I can see him. He's right there. But yeah, there's a lot of just like, it's a really typical kind of predictable soundtrack for the genre that it is, which was kind of a bummer because everything else is so good. To just have the soundtrack be kind of the normal da 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 when people are running, and then like big sad piano on beats that probably would have been just as sad with way less, maybe even sadder.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the more emotional moments would hit a little bit more if we didn't have that piano coming in every single time. And that's not just my general
every
dislike
time.
of
That's the
pianos
problem.
talking. It's a problem in the movie, I think.
Yeah, that's like the big thing that held it back for me, was especially because the whole movie is so good.
Right.
But then especially at the end, there's like 3 sad moments where the piano is just
The piano's
so
really,
present.
really going, yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing I really liked about the soundtrack is how percussive it was.
Yeah,
but
the
like
action
not like
sequences.
instrument percussive.
Yeah.
Like noises.
Yeah, it's like
weird
noise.
noises.
Yeah,
and
like
shit.
specifically in the scene where Cool Dad is running beside the train and he like goes off to like grab that riot shield and stuff. And then we get this brief sequence of him just like beating the shit out of a bunch of zombies next to the moving train. The music that's playing there is like fantastic for the moment because it's exactly what you just described. It's just noise percussion. It's fantastic. It's perfect.
Also, when the zombies are dragging behind the train.
Yeah, that's such a good
There's
moment.
a lot of good music in that part too. But yeah, I will cede the point that the piano was a little cheesy.
It's a bit much. Yeah.
It
It
shows
was
his,
cheesy, and I'm
shows his career
lactose
in
intolerant.
I don't think. Yeah, that's the main stuff that I didn't like. Did anyone else have things that they wanted to criticize on this movie?
I mean, like, I've got some slight issues with the CGI and the way that it looks during a lot of, like, the glass breaking moments and stuff, but I'm more than willing to overlook that because of how good, like, the rest of the effects are. And, like, it's a more story-focused movie. as like zombie action horror movies go, this is very, very story and character driven more so.
And yeah, that's actually something that I really liked a lot about this, and what I wanted to talk about in this versus a lot of American zombie movies.
Right, yeah. No guns.
Because, well, firstly, no guns.
There's like one gun in this whole movie, and it doesn't get fired.
Right? So I've got like, I don't know, I'm trying to catch my breath. I went and hit my inhaler earlier, and it's just like, it's not coming back.
Damn.
No, it's not water. I just need to breathe.
That's that band, that Christian band.
That's what I thought, and I wasn't gonna mention anything.
Anyway, and scene. That was if Noah actually made a need to breathe reference.
Wow, what a great scene. You know what we should do is we should have like some feelsy piano playing over that for the moment, you know?
Yeah,
Need to breathe could probably
absolutely.
do that. Anyway.
Yeah, let's call him up.
So one of the big differences I liked about this is how character driven the entire movie ended up being versus like, because I'm not going to sit here and claim that The Walking Dead is not a character driven show. In fact,
but it's a show, not
people
a movie.
who are stupid like to say that that's why it's a terrible zombie show. And it's like, well, how many seasons are you going to get out of zombies being zombies? There's only so much you got there.
Netflix, if you want to throw me some money, I will make that show.
Seems like the show is all about people and not about zombies. Yeah, man, the zombies are supposed to...
It's always
They're not good. They're not smart
What?
zombies.
Who the hell is saying
I don't
that
want to
shit
watch
as
a
a
movie
complaint?
about a tree that stands there aggressively.
Noah is not a J.R.R. Tolkien fan.
I am not. But, you know, the character stuff is very important in that, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I
feel like I don't think I've ever
Zombie-
seen any zombie-centric media that was actually truly about the zombies and not actually about people.
Yeah.
That's just...
No, that's
a weird complaint.
It's
It's weird.
It is a complaint that I heard a lot
I
from
think
people.
that the reason that that's a complaint, to be fair,
Okay.
is that the problem is that at some point in The Walking Dead, games and TV, from what I understand, is that the primary antagonistic force at some point stops being the zombies. The primary sense of danger stops being the zombies and starts being other people. And in a zombie TV show, people feel like the zombies stopped taking as much of the spotlight as a present sense of danger.
Okay. I see that.
Yeah,
then.
people were criticizing that from the first season, though,
Oh.
and that
Right.
was, like, still very zombie-centric.
Seemed that way to me for
Anyway.
the 3 episodes I watched, but whatever.
What do you call it? Zombieland?
Yeah.
That one's also, like, character-driven, but it's a comedy.
It is a
Doesn't
comedy.
land the same way.
Yeah, same with Shaun of the Dead.
Same with Shaun of the Dead, which is British.
It is.
But still.
I love Shaun of the Dead.
It's
Very
incredibly
excited to
good.
watch 28 Days Later next
Oh
one.
shit, yes.
Because I haven't seen that before.
Oh really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I would have thought one
I
of
hadn't
you
know.
two
either.
would have seen
That's
it.
why I'm so excited.
Nope. I've owned it for the better part of 4 years now. It's been sitting on my shelf.
It's been a long time since I've watched it.
It's been a
but
while for me as well.
I liked it back in the day.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I'm excited because from what I hear, it is good. And this is good. You know, Train to Busan.
It is.
And as much as I think City of the Dead was fun, I would not necessarily maybe say it was good. You know,
City is City of the Dead a Romero?
I don't know. Is that not the one that we watched?
Oh, are you talking Land of the Dead?
I'm talking Land of the
Okay,
Dead.
that is Romero. Yes.
Okay, Land of the Dead, which I'm not going to say is you know, Romero's first one was a very serious movie, and then as it went on, they got a little bit goofier from what I can see.
I'm not going to pass judgment on that one because when we watched that was a long ass time ago, and we were both very head empty at the time. So
Yeah. So maybe it's a little deeper than I remember.
I would
But anyway,
think it is. But
all that saying, I really like this movie.
Can I talk about the one zombie piece of media that I'm intimately familiar with that I'd like to compare this to?
sure,
It's World War Z.
Oh yeah.
I have seen
the
it
movie-
compared
Brad
to
Pitt.
it actually.
The movie World War Z is the least character-driven zombie media I have ever seen.
Yeah?
It does not focus on the human element at all. It is Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I was about to say that's just because the main character is Brad Pitt, right? Like, what are you gonna do
No,
with
because
that?
the main character. So I've read the book as well, and the book has a lot of like problematic issues.
Oh no.
But when it comes to zombie world building, it is some of my favorite. And that's the thing is, the book World War Z is world building, only world building, pure world building. It is a reporter going from person to person and getting their eyewitness account of how they adapted to their specific areas kind of challenges with the zombie apocalypse.
So is it like
really
kind of
interesting.
epistolary then?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, it's so cool. It's written as though it is a transcript of this man's recorded interviews with people.
That's fucking cool. That's a nice concept.
It's
I like it.
so cool. There are some segments that I have stuck with me like viscerally, and some like just concepts on how zombies would work in certain areas. Like in this world, their blood is thicker and more viscous, and the further north they get, everyone ended up moving north because the colder they get, the less effective they are.
Ah, right.
So really good. Zero character building. There's a lot of characters, but none of them like are really focused on. It's more their stories and what they went through that we're learning about. And then in the movie, they take the main character, the reporter, and try to make him an action hero, and it sucks.
No,
Isn't it Brad Pitt?
Yes, it's Brad Pitt. Good job.
Yeah.
Maybe part of the reason that doesn't work.
So the reason that I like World War Z as a book is because it focuses on my favorite part of the zombie apocalypse, which is everyone realizing what's going on and having to deal with it. And it focuses on that from all around the world, over and over again, just that initial sense of horror from different people's point of view.
Yeah.
The movie loses all of that pretty much immediately. So this Train to Busan does basically like what one of the interviews in the World War Z book would do, which is focus on one group of people's interactions with Outbreak Day and how that affected them and the horrors that they had to witness. And that's what I'm here in this genre for, baby.
Yeah.
So I like it more than I like stuff that I've seen that's more I don't know, focused on the action, I guess. Yeah, it's like I'm not really watching a zombie movie for the action, but maybe I'm crazy.
Not that this one's short on action.
No, it isn't.
It just
But I will say a lot of zombie action is just kind of, it feels played out. You know, like
it feels like it feels PG-13. It's very faceless hordes that we're shooting with machine guns, and it's like teenage boys' idea of badass.
Yeah, that's
no
no
offense, but
no offense if you're a teenage boy.
To any teenage boys that may be listening.
Full offense to any teenage boys who might be listening.
Get fucked, teenage boys.
Yeah, no, I just don't. I don't find that appealing very much.
Yeah, which is honestly part of the reason that that I enjoy so many movies that do what I really like about this one, which is the really cramped and like small space of it, the really limited scope of it.
Yeah,
I think that does an awful lot of heavy lifting in making sure that your zombie media stays good. Nothing against like, you know, Romero stuff, like Day of the Dead has a lot of like massive zombie horde type stuff. And I absolutely love the way that it plays that stuff, but like it does still bring them into more cramped spaces. It makes the violence feel a lot more personal, a lot more visceral, a lot more real.
I love this and Shaun of the Dead. I love this about. I love short time span and knowing where everything is. I love knowing where everything is because it makes the sense of danger much more heightened to me because you can't just kind of have like there are a couple things in this movie that I really love because it shows that the world has been moving outside of this train and things have been happening. Yeah. Like specifically, I love every time we get to a city and things have been happening. But I also love at the very end of the movie, they're in this train switching yard and this engine that's just on fire just fucking rolls into the station. And it's like, shit, dude.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do about that?
What happened there?
It's another train where the same thing was happening, but it went just a little bit worse. I love that.
But I love the fact that because we're so contained and we know where everything is, it feels like there's very little opportunity for like Deus Ex Machina stuff because we know all the pieces in play for the most part. So then when Deus Ex Machina batshit stuff happens, it's so much more interesting because there hasn't been the opportunity for things to just happen through the whole movie.
Yeah, and when it happens, you're kind of like, oh, well, I guess this was inevitable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like that this was bound to happen, I guess.
The sense of like mounting hopelessness through the whole movie as well. As every time that something good seems like it might happen, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I love it. It's relentless.
Yeah. You know, something
I love it.
something that really, speaking of that train yard scene, actually, something that really stuck out to me the last time that I watched it here, when they stop and the conductor makes that like announcement that he's gonna go try and find another working train and put it on the far left track, and at the end of the announcement he just says, "Whoever's there, please make it over there safely." He says that, and I realized, oh, fuck, he has really gone this entire drive on this train not knowing what was happening behind him, not knowing what was happening to all of his passengers. When he makes that announcement, he doesn't know that anyone's going to hear him. He doesn't know if he's alone.
When they stop at the station, they're just like, "Conductor, see, this is the incident we were talking about," and it's all the zombies pressed against the window in the one car.
Yeah, and he's like seeing it for the first time. He's just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And he then goes the entire rest of the movie until his death, not knowing how many people were surviving from there. Like, holy shit.
Once car 15 stopped talking to him, he's got nothing.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to live. He was like one of the only characters that I was like, because I knew that Don Lee's character was definitely going to die.
Oh, his wife is pregnant. Of course he's going to die.
So, but like, I really hoped that the conductor was so minor as a character that I was like, maybe he'll make it. Maybe he'll make it.
He's just doing his best.
He is. He's really just doing his best.
Don Lee really rolled up with his boat, the Live Forever, on the day of his retirement. And was like, "And I have a child on the way."
White scarf and all.
He's so hot. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep
He has
coming
like
back
all
to
the
this.
best lines in the movie as well. Like,
"Hey, jerk, are you coming or not?
I love...
Hey, asshole, listen to
yeah,
me."
he's just
I
like,
love
"Yes,
the
your daughter told me
dynamic.
you're a funds manager. I guess you're good at leaving people behind, huh?" Like, jeez.
I love that.
I two things I love about that couple of characters, the wife, him and his wife.
Yeah.
I love their dynamic. I love how she clearly they love each other so much and she does not take his shit.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
how little she takes his shit. She's like, "Yeah, he hasn't fucking named his child yet." And- I love them so much.
I think the movie, he's such a great character. The movie suffers after he dies a bit.
Yeah.
I think,
Like, it's kind of lost a lot of its heart at that point.
yeah, him and the main character in particular had really great chemistry together.
It made the main character work better.
Yeah.
I wish they would have recognized that because he dies like halfway through.
I have a note somewhere in
almost.
there
Yeah,
saying,
just-
"So you're telling me I have to watch 40 more minutes without my favorite character?"
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just too
Literally.
he should have lasted a bit longer.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe died in like the train yard.
Yeah.
His wife becomes, and this is not like, I don't think this is the fault of the actress or anything. His wife becomes like a non-character after he dies. She was great when he was around, and she had her own personality, and I thought she worked really well as a character. But
just
after
kind of
he
baggage
dies,
afterwards.
they kind of backseat her, and we know that like pretty much. But what I like about her, and this is the other thing I was gonna say, is that she and Don Lee's character pick up Suan, and they're like, "Okay, your dad sucks."
Yeah.
And anytime that they don't have eyes on her dad, they're like, "Okay, we're in charge."
Yeah,
of
they're
you."
just like, "Well, this is our kid now, I guess." Like, and that's
Yeah,
before
they-
the zombie stuff starts happening even. Did you catch this?
Yeah.
He's constantly just leaving her unattended. At one point it's with them, and that's the point where he's just like, "Is that your dad? Like is he your real dad?" And she's like, "No, stop that. Don't ask that." And he's like, "What? I want to know."
I love that.
Because he's just such
I would
a
have
piece of
loved
shit.
if they gave a little bit more time for him and his wife's perspective.
Yeah.
And then you see them helping the daughter and all of this other stuff. And then as the movie goes on, because like when you're watching this movie, you clearly know, okay, bad father is the main character. He's going to survive or at least get to the very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But splitting the point of view characters a bit more to where it was with them as well. And you get this interesting interplay between not exactly knowing which person / group is going to survive.
Yeah.
and that either way the daughter's going to be fine. But kind of who's she going to end up with?
This is my pitch, okay? I think Suan should have been more of our focal character with kind of a split POV over the rest of everyone else. And then I think the point where Cool Dad died, Shit Dad should have died instead, and Cool Dad should have died closer to the end.
Yeah.
So that we get to see the full playing out of them taking care of her and kind of having the moment that they saw that the dad was neglectful, being like, okay, this is basically our kid now. We could have seen that played out a little more. We could have seen there would have been a very distinct moment of self-sacrifice from the dad, who has, like, Cool Dad's been self-sacrificial and fucking putting other people before him this whole time. So to see one distinct moment where Shit Dad did that, I think would have been really, like, predictable as a character arc, but it's basically what he ended up doing anyway. Yeah. So that would have been an equally, like, impactful moment. I think just flipping those two's death scenes would have worked really well for me personally. Not just because I would have wanted more.
Well, right. Obviously, we just want more of him in this movie, but like,
but I do think, like, on an emotional level, that might have worked just as well or better for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like you could have even had the homeless man die where Cool Dad died, and then had one of the others die being crushed by the train.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments where they kind of hold on an emotional death for self-sacrifice that, basically those three all sort of serve the same function and could have been shuffled as long as one of the dads dies at the end.
I think having Dad Prime die at the end works, though, because he needs to see two total strangers sacrificing themselves so that his daughter can get away.
To make him realize.
Because I don't think that he is I don't think that he's got enough of empathy isn't the right word, but I don't think that he was actually going to get there by himself as quickly.
No,
he had not had those two like say, hey, you get out of here, and then
it didn't click until he saw them both do it, and then it's like, oh, that's the kind of person I need to be. But that's honestly a problem for me. Maybe he would have died at the train car crushing thing, because I don't think he is intentionally self-sacrificial at the end in the way that either of the other two characters were.
That's what I was about to say.
He's kind of he's at the very end there. He's not doing anything intentionally. He's doing basically what he has to do to protect his daughter, which is what he's always done. I don't think that he, as much as I do believe that he did learn that lesson, like, I'm not going to say that, he didn't learn anything. I don't think that the ending reinforces the fact that he learned his lesson.
No, it's kind of more the ending is like, it felt to me like the point where he gets bit is the moment where he learns his lesson, because he kind of goes through that thing where he's like realizing how harmful it's been. You know, he goes to lock them in the cab of the train, and suddenly Suan is like crying about how he's leaving her again and she doesn't want this to keep happening. That's kind of the moment where he realizes the massive, the incomprehensible volume of completely irreparable harm that he has been causing by neglecting her this entire time. But he's only realizing it melodramatically at the exact moment that staying is the worst possible thing he could do. So, like, for that, his arc works, but at the same time, it's like, well, I wanted more of the cool guy instead.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the arc works, but
it hurt. It hurted.
The arc works, but it doesn't take, like, a major rewrite.
Right, yeah, just to make it all hit a little bit.
To make things slightly better.
Yeah. God, her little hand
still
gripping his sleeve. Oh,
yeah.
No. Oh.
Okay, so here's my pitch for when Cool Dad should have died. He makes it all the way through the train yard scene and whatnot, by, like, you know, punching his way through every zombie that he sees as he gets through the entire movie. And we get to the point where we have that incredible scene of the zombies dragging behind the train, and he is the one who gets the zombies to, like, actually let go and stop dragging behind the train so they can't, like, get to them. But in the course of doing that is when he has to sacrifice himself. I think that's when it really would have hit. And then you get the stuff with Shit Dad and the business guy in the cab and all that stuff.
Right.
I think that's good. I have an alternate pitch.
Okay.
This is just us trying to find ways to improve this movie the whole episode. When we all said that we really liked it to begin with.
It's literally just ways to keep our favorite character.
It's just ways to have him more. Okay, so what's this idea?
I think he should have died in place of the train conductor, where, say, the main group gets to the train, they see shitty businessman running up being chased. It is in character for Cool Dad to jump off to try to help him. Yeah. And then shitty businessman gets him killed and leaves him behind.
I cannot take shitty businessman being directly responsible for just kind of tossing another one of my favorite characters.
I was about to say that would make me so incredibly angry, but I do think the scene would play out well.
Jeff and I were talking about this before recording, and that man won 2 awards for his portrayal of shitty businessman.
He did. Yeah.
And I think
he deserved that. He did a great job.
Rightfully.
Because, God, I have not felt this strongly about a movie's character in ages. It's insane how much that pissed me off.
Yeah, it's been since we watched Lost that I've had this many like negative or positive feelings about a specific character.
Who was it in Lost?
A lot of people.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in that show. Yep. Silly question.
Yeah.
But also, like, in a TV show, you've got so much more time to build that resentment, whereas this guy does it in 2 hours. It's incredible.
It was so good. He's played for what I love, and this is like the last thing I'll say on him, is how much it seems like he's gonna be played for laughs in certain situations. Because I've watched a lot of like non-Western media where like the shitty character is like kind of played for laughs because haha, isn't it funny how shitty they are? And at first it feels like that, specifically in the scene where he throws the steward to like distract the zombies. That feels almost like comedic in tone, how much he's like, yeah, you should go first. Like that feels specifically toned like that. But then with each new person that he throws to the wolves, it gets like more and more sinister until that like
right up to the end where he's just like, I'm afraid, can you take me back to my mother? She's waiting for me.
Yeah. Really good. Also our boy Don Lee got nominated for a couple of awards, but did not win any. For his performance.
One of these days he's gonna win an award, and if Don Lee has no fans, I'm dead.
I don't think I've seen him in anything other than this, but I would like to.
I saw him in Eternals, and he was the only like character that I liked in Eternals. I was attached to him. All the other characters kind of sucked. Spoilers for Eternals. He does also kind of get.
You did talk a
significant
period of time about Eternals when you saw it on this show, so we all know how you feel about it.
But yeah, no, his character Gilgamesh gets killed pretty early on in a very like similar situation where like we are made to care about the character that he is in love with because of his relationship with that, or not in love with, but it's like a platonic like really strong friendship between the two. And we mostly care about her because of how careful he is with her and how much he takes care of her. And then he dies, and the only reason that I cared about Angelina Jolie's character from that moment on was because of him. I was like, no, he died for her. I have to see her live. But other than that, movies suck.
Right.
But yeah, one day he'll win an award.
We're gonna get you there, bud.
I don't have anything else to say. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else does.
I want to say that shitty businessman, everything he did was rational in a zombie apocalypse, except at the end where he started sacrificing people in order to get away. That was shitty of him, absolutely.
Okay, I can see
everything
most
prior
of it.
to that.
I can see most of it, yeah.
Completely made
like
sense.
I said in the synopsis, I cannot see being like, oh, he's infected. Look at his eyes. He's definitely infected just because he's pissed.
Yeah, that was
that
clearly
Dad
just him
in the
being
face.
a piece of shit, being a dick. But I can see most of his
trying to stop
decisions.
them from getting in. I get
yes,
that.
I get trying to stop them from getting in. And if I didn't know because I saw his face after he got punched, maybe if I didn't know that, I would buy that he genuinely believed that they were bitten, but he did not. He was super just annoyed that he had been called out for being shitty. So,
well, did you ever think about his feelings, Nina?
Not even once, as a matter of fact.
No, I didn't.
And I will continue not to think about it.
But
he does
like,
say a lot
real
of stuff
quick,
that does make sense earlier on. Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Real quick before we move on. This movie draws a clear line between self-preservation and selfishness and community and standing up for each other. And it really kind of, I'm going to be real succinct about this because I don't know a lot about like the background that led to this being the themes of the movie, but there's a clear thing about class and selfishness, and this is a clear allegory to the types of people who will put those below them, even though they're responsible for the circumstances that created this shitty situation in the first place. Main dad and shit businessman are both selfish, and they are condemned for that. They both take what would be rational actions. But if they had gotten their way, a lot of the time, those situations led to the people that they stepped on to get to that place being their ultimate downfall. So meanwhile, the people who had been stepped on put themselves in other harm's way and continue to let themselves be pulled down so that other people can climb over them and get out alive. So there's a lot of really interesting kind of stuff going on there. So even though I believe that both shit dad and shit businessman behaved rationally when they acted in their own self-interests, within the themes of this movie, that's bad.
Well, unlike so much of their
being rational is bad.
So much
because
of their
this is
intentions were still like not with other people's best interests in mind, only their own.
Right.
Like,
and it's like that's the idea. That's kind of a critique on capitalism because that's
absolutely.
the argument for why capitalism should work is because if it's this belief that we're all acting within our own self-interests, but that's only a belief that people who are privileged enough to do that and don't rely on the help of others can have.
Yeah, the whole like Ayn Rand, greed is good bullshit.
Right, precisely. So I think that that's something the movie is making a direct critique on, and I think it works really well.
It's very much a movie about how a finance bro learns empathy by being forced to carry a little girl around with him. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. Like,
and watching other people pick up the little girl when he puts her down.
Yeah, watching other people
like
pick the ball up where he drops it every single time and not getting it until the end.
Oh, it's so good. All right, that's what I'd like to end on before Noah's notes, unless anyone else has anything else to say.
I say that's a good spot to leave it. Emma? All right.
Yeah, that's good.
The notes.
Okay, it's Noah's notes time. I'm not gonna read that first one.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is in reference to, but Noah's notes say, "Get his ass, Suan."
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was yelling at her dad.
That
Of
might be the
course.
scene where Business Boy is like talking to the
Nope, it's not that. No,
with
it's before we get on the train.
before getting on the train. Okay.
Yeah, because the note before it says that's the Samsung hang-up noise. So it was.
It might have just been
when they
her
weren't
under the
home.
covers being like, "I can just ride the train myself, and you can come pick me up." Like, Noah has a lot of just notes on the. Noah says, "Aha! Oh no, businessman! I already know I'm gonna hate him."
I was correct.
Another roast from Suan. He says, "Get his ass to
Okay,
Suan." She's on a roll.
I bet
Hell
this
yeah.
is the one
That
that I
was
was thinking
Businessman.
of, which is where the business guy is talking about the homeless guy in the bathroom. He points at him to Suan and says, like, if you don't do well in school, you'll end up like him. And she just goes, "My mom said that anyone who says that is wrong." And he says...
Anyone who says that is a bad person.
Yeah, and he, piece of shit that he is, says, "Well, she must have flunked school too," and walks away laughing. Like, what the hell?
It's one of the funniest lines in the entire movie where he's just like, "Snot-nosed kid, I'd beat your ass if you're an adult. But your mom's stupid."
Yeah, he's just like, "Well, fuck your mom."
there's a note here that says, in quotation marks, people nowadays will riot over anything. And then Noah says, the more things fucking change. And
yeah, that's the two elderly sisters. She's like, they'll riot over anything. We used to just send them to re-education camps.
Yeah.
The other sister's like, shut the fuck up.
That's an incredibly dark joke. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a joke.
Well, I think it's in the
old.
movie as like a...
Oh,
Right, yeah.
But, like,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
wasn't joking when she said it, no. But, like, Jesus Christ, though.
There's a lot of notes on just loving Songhwa.
That's what half of my notes are as well. I wrote at a couple of points that he should have his own theme music.
He should.
I think that would be a great
Noah says,
addition to this movie.
very quickly in succession, Noah says Songhwa peak himbo, then no longer himbo, just a big old grumpy guy. Fuck, I love him. A few notes later, Noah says Songhwa telling it like it is. Hedge fund people really are fucking leeches.
Yeah.
We're not very far into these notes at all, and this one says, please let this be where businessman dies.
No.
Yeah, I don't even know when that was, because the next note is, oh, I forgot about the baseball team. I think it's before they got to the... Oh, it's as they pulled into the station where they were told to disembark.
Oh, right.
Noah says, with Fast Infection, it's just so fun seeing the whole cop wall turned. And it's like, yeah, that must, like, because we had heard them talking to the people at that station not that long
Just
ago.
a few minutes previous, yeah.
And it's like shit went down really fast. I also love how once a group of people are turned, they just kind of coexist and just
they just mill around
together.
with each other. Yeah,
it's
but
so
also like
funny.
in that scene, the way we get that reveal, it's where all of our characters are like on an escalator that is feeding them down directly to the crowd of zombies.
Oh,
holy
so
shit!
Good. Noah says, I can already tell this movie is going to make me cry. Immediately after, Noah says, if Songhwa dies, I'm going to be real miserable.
Yep.
Noah says, Songhwa just laying down the guilt now. So you're the bad dad, right? Kind of shit dad? Yeah, you got to be better.
He does say that.
He's like, so you aren't around much, huh? Kind of a shit dad, huh? Yeah, that's your job, actually, to support your family and then also be there. So maybe do that.
Yeah, or like after they've fought through all the train cars full of zombies and they hide in the bathroom and stuff, and he's like, hey, did that feel good? Seeing your kid again? Because of me? Like, wow.
I love him so much. Noah says, businessman looking mighty proud of himself, standing there all thematically. Then Noah says, fuck. And then he says, I'm about to be so miserable. I believe that Songhwa got bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Noah says, directly following that, I want businessman dead so bad. Then there's the, how am I supposed to watch another 40 minutes of this? Then there's, I would skin businessman alive right now and feed him his own fucking eyes.
Whoa.
And I'm not even kidding.
Even the zombies wouldn't have done that
later,
to him.
2 notes later, Noah says, how is this man alive? I'm so mad, in all caps. This is the most unhinged I've seen Noah's notes in a while. They've completely devolved. You can tell that he got really emotionally attached to these characters.
I was incredibly
I feel
attached
like
to
if
these
Noah
characters.
sees this actor in real life, he's just gonna see red. Like, it's gonna be like a visceral, like, instinct reaction.
over it.
Not even conscious.
I'm fine.
Noah says,
I'm
run.
upbeat.
Noah says, run, dudes, you gotta go. Noah says, of course this man's a zombie. His last act of selfishness.
I bet he became a zombie
Sitting
on
there
purpose.
alone in the train, a zombie.
And then that's pretty much it. Noah's last note. Please don't tell me they get gunned down by the military, because like that's the only way I could see them maintaining a safe city of any sort of outbreak like this.
It looks like it's going to happen
that's
for a
true.
minute.
And I wouldn't blame
An American zombie movie would have cut to black so that we would have been like, oh, it's up to interpretation.
Not necessarily, but I mean, that is how the 2010 remake of The Crazies ended, kind of.
Not really.
A little bit.
Anyway, I'm going to stop before this gets messy, since Noah's still riding the violence high from shit businessman, and I don't want Jeff to get fed their own eyes.
I wasn't using them.
Thank you for listening, everyone. That was Noah's Notes, and this has been Casual Obsession, the episode about Train to Busan. Next week, we're watching 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
The next episode comes out April 1st.
Oh, does it really?
Does it? Jeez, yeah, our schedule got all fucked up.
Oh, fuck. Okay, next episode is April 1st.
That's book.
We've talked about this. Last year was a joke. This year, we're just playing it straight.
This year, it's for serious.
Yeah.
We're reading Summer Suns by Lee Mandello. You don't have enough time. It's not that long. You probably could read it if you wanted to.
We've been talking about it for ages now.
But yeah, you officially have like 2 weeks from hearing this to read Summer Suns. I am 1 chapter in, and I am trying to get 2 chapters in before I make any solid judgments.
I am, as of this afternoon, 16 chapters in, which is, I'm about at like the halfway point of the book, I think. The beginning is very rough.
Yeah, this is not grabbing me as instantly as Revelator did, but Revelator played into a lot of things that I personally really, really like. So
That makes sense.
I think that this is like, and there's no way we could have predicted that Revelator was going to be such a fucking smash hit for me personally.
Not possible, no.
But I am excited to get into Summer Suns, and we will watch 28 Days Later.
Yeah, March of the Zombies will
that too.
resume after that.
Yeah, much like Flanuary,
The
March of the
zombies-
Zombies does not have a set time frame. It just started in March.
The zombies have consumed the month of April. It's just happening.
April of the Zombies.
No, it's still March of the Zombies. They're marching.
They're marching into April.
Exactly, to devour it.
Anyway.
Marching right onto Twitter, too, where you could follow us
there
at
we go.
Casual
Thank you.
Horror Pod. We don't post much, but we like things sometimes. And by we, I mean Emma. Emma like things sometimes.
Emma needs to give one of us, me, the login infos, because I'm always on Twitter and could use yet another account to like things
I
with.
think we all have it.
I can do that.
Cool.
I can do that.
We also have a Tumblr at Casual Horror Pod, which is also mostly me.
Yeah, I need to get
posting
myself
things
onto
that-
that.
I
I
forgot
don't
about
follow
that
it
one.
currently even. I just...
If you follow me on Tumblr, at Nina Wolverina with the 3 instead of the E, if you already follow me there, when you follow Casual Obsession, just know that you're going to see a lot of the same stuff, because the way that I find content for Casual Obsession is to reblog it myself and tag it so that I remember to reblog it from Casual Obsession later. But with that in mind, that's where you can find me on Tumblr, and you can also find me on Twitter at Nina Wolverina, and on Instagram at the same. I do art and I write book.
Find me as Bubba the Bad, BUBBADABAD, Twitch, Twitter, Insta, and Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd. I want more Letterboxd people.
Maybe I should get onto Letterboxd.
It's fun to log
I
things.
can have another,
I like to remember
another
the
form
movies
of
I watch
social
that way.
media that
I like
forget to use constantly.
That's the way to go.
I like Noah using Letterboxd because he's been using it for a while, and I like watching him leave notes that I know he's going to disagree with in 4 more years.
That's how reviews work.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's like a time
Good old
capsule.
10-star
Yeah.
Noah.
I look forward to every 10-star Noah moment that we've ever had on this show. Speaking of,
And will
you can
continue to have.
hear about my thoughts on other things when I finally remember to post them on Twitter at BubbleWubbadab and on Tumblr at What Is It You Pray For.
Hoggers. And I'm Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. I'm also writing a TTRPG called All the Witches. It's coming to Kickstarter on Thursday, March 16th. So when this episode comes out, it will be live. Please support it if you like games about witches or if that interests you.
So exciting.
It's real exciting and stressful,
Yeah, I bet.
but we'll see how it goes.
So excited.
But yeah, thank you everybody so much for listening and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Have a great next couple weeks, and we'll see you April 1st.
Ooh, this is the part where the new theme music rolls a second time.